Hey there, welcome over here to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 of my family's favorite casseroles. These casseroles are especially perfect for this time of year, so I hope you enjoy it and let's go get to cooking. To kick us off today, we are making these easy, cheesy, beefy enchiladas. So to the pan on my stove, I'm adding 1 pound of ground beef. I'm breaking the beef up with my meat masher right here. And then once your meat is completely cooked through, just remove any excess grease. And then it is time to season it up. So I'm adding a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, chili powder, and onion powder. And then after that, I'm adding half of this 10-ounce can of red enchilada sauce right in there. I gave this a stir, and then you are going to add in a half a cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. Continue to let this simmer on your stove until the cheese melts down. Now it's time to assemble our enchiladas. So to my greased baking dish right here, I'm adding the rest of the 10-ounce can of enchilada sauce right to the bottom. And as you see, I kind of spread it out. And then I have my 15 corn tortillas right here. I did warm up my corn tortillas in a wet paper towel in the microwave for about a minute or 2. This will help so the corn tortillas do not crack. And then I added a couple spoonfuls of that beefy mixture right in there. After I was through with that, I added 1 10-ounce can of red enchilada sauce on the very top. Of course, you could always use more or less enchilada sauce, whatever you prefer. And then I put about a cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese on the top of that. This baked on 375 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. I served my enchiladas with pinto beans on the side, and I topped them with fresh cilantro, sour cream, and cherry tomatoes. These enchiladas are seriously perfect because they taste like you spent hours and hours making them, and my entire family approves. Now we're making my all-time favorite lower carb ham and broccoli casserole. So to this large bowl, I'm adding 2 cups of fresh broccoli florets. Next, 2 cups of cubed ham. This is the ham I used, but you could use any type of ham you like or have on hand. And then 2.5 cups of steamed cauliflower rice, a half a cup of sour cream. And then for the seasonings, go ahead and add in a teaspoon of garlic powder and onion powder with a dash of salt and pepper. And then the very last thing you will add to this mixture is 3/4 cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. Give this a really good stir. Now that we have our casserole super duper well combined, I placed it into my greased large round baking dish, or you could use a 9x13 baking dish. I spread it out as even as possible, and then I sprinkled 1 cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese over the top. This baked in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. Here's my bowl of food. I sprinkled plenty of black pepper over the top of mine. I don't know what it is with this casserole, but my daughter could eat bowls and bowls of this. It is that good. Anyways, this also makes for great leftovers for the next day. Now we're making this skinny enchilada casserole. To begin, I'm adding 1 cup of cooked jasmine rice to this large bowl, or you could use brown rice, regular white rice, or quinoa. You just want to make sure it's cooked. And then I added a 1.5 cups of salsa, 1 can of corn that I drained, a can of drained and rinsed black beans, 4 ounces of diced green chilies, just one of these little cans. They're not very spicy at all. They just add a great flavor. And then 2 cups of cooked chicken. I just used part of a rotisserie chicken, or you could cook your chicken up on your own. 3 tablespoons of fresh cilantro, and then for the seasonings, a half a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of chili powder, dash of salt and pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then the last thing I added in was a half a cup of Monterey Jack cheese, or you could add in pepper jack cheese. After I placed our casserole into the baking dish, I sprinkled an additional cup of Monterey Jack cheese over the top. This baked in a preheated oven to 375 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Here it is out of the oven. You definitely want to give this casserole a shot. I topped mine with some toppings that I already had on hand, just sliced cherry tomatoes, green onions, and cilantro, but you could top yours with whatever you want. Now we're making this cracked chicken casserole. To begin, in my pot of boiling water, I'm adding about a cup and a half of dry elbow pasta noodles, and then I cooked them according to the box directions. You could really use any type of pasta you like for this recipe. Over to my pan on the stove, I'm adding 6 slices of bacon that I cut into smaller pieces. Just cook this bacon up right now. After my bacon was cooked, I removed it to a separate plate lined with paper towels, and I'll be the first to admit I did kind of burn my bacon a little bit. I got sidetracked watching my daughter in the other room, but anyways, after I set the bacon to the side, I did save 2 tablespoons of the bacon grease in my pan. I added my 1 onion and I softened the onion. Now over to this large bowl, I'm adding my 1 cup of sour cream. Next, add 1 cup of heavy cream, or you could use half and half, and then 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and then 2.5 tablespoons of ranch seasoning. Mix this together. I used an electric mixer just to make my life easy. The rest of the ingredients you'll be tossing in is a half a teaspoon of black pepper, a dash of salt, 2 cups of cooked chicken. I used part of a rotisserie chicken, or of course you could just cook your chicken up on your own and then cube it and shred it from there. And then our cooked noodles along with the onion that we softened. Half of the amount of the bacon that we cooked up, you'll want to save the other half of the bacon for on top. A half a cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese, and then stir this to combine. After I placed this in my greased baking dish, I sprinkled plenty more cheese on top, and then I added the rest of the bacon along with a few green onions that I sliced. We love green onions in our home. I do also want to mention this recipe is so easy to double, so if you want to make it for a really large amount of people, you could double this easily. This baked on 375 degrees for about 35 minutes. Here's my cracked chicken casserole. It is so cheesy and creamy and delicious. It has the perfect amount of flavor of everything in it. You will definitely want to make this one. It is comfort food to the max. Now we're making this really simple baked Tuscan chicken. I have 2 large chicken breasts right here. I'm slicing them in half horizontally like this. This will help your chicken cook so much quicker in the oven. It'll also help your chicken be more flavorful and tender. So after I was finished with that, I placed my chicken in my baking dish. You will be adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil over the top of the chicken, and then you are going to season it with a dash of salt and pepper, and then a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning and a half a teaspoon of paprika. I just brushed the seasoning on and tried to get it all over the chicken as much as possible. Now we're going to begin on the sauce. In my big measuring cup right here, I'm measuring out about 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Next, I'm adding in a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, or you could add in a teaspoon of fresh minced garlic. I just didn't have any fresh garlic on hand. And then I added a teaspoon and a half of cornstarch along with a dash of salt and pepper. I whisked this all together. The last couple ingredients I'm tossing in is 1/3 cup of sun-dried tomatoes and then 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. I gave this a really good stir. to the chicken that we seasoned up earlier, go ahead and pour your creamy sauce over the top, and then bake this in a preheated oven to 425 degrees for about 17 to 25 minutes, or until your chicken is completely cooked. Here's my big bowl of food. I placed my chicken and the sauce over a bed of noodles, or you could serve this over rice or cauliflower rice, whatever you prefer. And then I sliced the chicken up and sprinkled plenty more Parmesan cheese over the top. This dinner is a complete hit. I have so many more videos like this on my channel, so make sure you subscribe down below the video so you don't miss any more in the future. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.